Hey YouTube, 3D Printing Life here, and I'm just going to do a quick update on the 3.0. It's not going to be too long because not too much has changed, but quite a bit is planned to be changed, and I will show you what I mean as I go on. First of all, for the machine itself, I forget when the last time I did an actual update was. I took a few videos, but I don't think I posted any of them because I didn't really like any of them. So I will just get started with all the stuff, and maybe I'll repeat it, maybe not. XN stop, I'm pretty sure that's been on there. YN stop I know is new. I just have to melt the plastic around here a little because the plastic is too loose, so when the bolt is in here to actually hit the end stop, it wobbles around a bit, and I don't want it to fall out from resonating from the gantry, because it might fall in somewhere important and jam it or something. I don't know. I don't want to take any risks like that. So yeah, it has full end stop support pretty much as is. I really just got to get a little grill lighter and just melt that down a bit so that it is a bit more snug on the bolt. Coming down aesthetics wise, a lot has changed. Power supply is mounted vertically, pretty sturdy, sturdy enough anyway. The bottom frame here actually doesn't really vibrate at all when it's printing. It does a tiny bit, but not much. Printer board is mounted. You may have seen this in a previous video. Wiring is held together by electrical tape. There is so much right here, because literally all the wiring for the printer goes straight up here and along this top bar. So I will figure something out for that. I have no clue what. But all this stuff is going to be stuff that you can print on your own once you get your printer, because it's not required to get the printer functional. It's just required to make it look pretty, of course. Also, I have a power switch, a functional power switch. I don't know what other kinds there are, but so off, and now it's on. There's the light, and the power supply light is, I forget where it is. Well, it's on, I promise. I just forget where the light is on it. I guess it's hidden. For some reason, this switch has a little purplish light that's always on. It works perfectly fine. It's just a weird light. I don't really know, and it's on whether the switch is on or off, which is strange, but whatever. I don't really care that much. Other than that, it's pretty much remained largely the same. However, there is a big change about to be going in, and it has to do with this thing. No more of this, because I just got all my Plexi. I got 3 sheets. I have to cut each one of these in half, so I'm going to have 6 beds total, as long as I don't screw any up. I hope I don't. I also have this little template that I just made up real quick. This design is just because it was 2 pieces, so I added a little thing to reference so that it's easier to line them up. So I just have to cut each of these in half with a table saw. Then I will tape this on here, drill holes, small hole first, and then I will drill a big hole next to it. And what that will do is make it so it will be removable. And I have washers in my big drawer of goodies. There they are. I have some washers which will be going on top of the spring but underneath the bed, so that when you push the bed down on, it will push down on the washer, which will push on the spring, because otherwise it just wouldn't really work, because the spring diameter would be too close to the size of the hole and it might jam up or whatever, so the washers will just make it nice and smooth to put on and take off. And this stuff is thick. It's 3/8 of an inch. I've heard of people using 1/4 inch. I've heard of people using 1/2 inch. Never 3/8. I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure people have. People say 1/4 inch works fine, but then again, people say that you need 1/2 inch for the extra rigidity or whatever. I went with 3/8 because it's a nice middle ground. Plus, the tolerance, the thickness tolerance was actually a bit tighter on the 3/8 than the 1/2 inch. And I'm glad I went with this because it's ridiculously rigid. This piece, 18 inches long, has no flex even if I, do this. It's got barely any flex at all. So it's really awesome. The sides aren't polished, and no, I'm not going to polish the sides for you because that would just take forever. I don't have a machine or anything to do that. So if you really want to make it pretty, you can polish the edges yourself. But hopefully the cut will be nice when I do it, and it will look similar to this, because this isn't really that bad. And I did peel off a corner somewhere just to check, and it's perfectly clear and all that. So that's all good. Along those lines, further, and regarding to aesthetics, I got this from eStreetPlastics.com. It was fairly cheap, I guess you could say, at least cheaper than I expected it to cost. And actually, the good news with that is that you can get 1/8" colored Plexi, not transparent, opaque plexiglass. And actually, it would be possible to cut out panels to put on this thing and to do the entire enclosure for only about, I think it was like $40 or something like that, something really good. Because I had some quotes from other sites that laser cut it, and they were quoting about $80 for all the parts, which included a top sort of frame. It was just like a border for the top, solid sides, solid back, and then a front with a big cutout in it, and then also a plate to go on the bottom here to cover the belt. And that was $80. But to do it yourself, it would be about $40. The problem would just be cutting it. It is, for the most part, squares with holes drilled in it, but you would need square cutouts for the power switch if you wanted one. I'm assuming if you're going to buy an enclosure, you probably got a power switch. For the USB, for the for the USB plug, for the micro SD card, and that's probably about it for miscellaneous cutouts on the side. Actually, yeah, that should be it. It's nice because they're all in one spot. I did try to do that. They're all in a range. But additionally, I'm working on a spool holder that's going to mount on the back here, so that might require another cutout, but basically my point is you probably can cut all these pieces out by hand, but that might be difficult. If you had a laser cutter that can cut 16 by 16 inch pieces, or was it 4? No, yes, it's 16 by 16 inches. I don't know why I'm forgetting this stuff. But if you do have a laser cutter that is that big, you're in luck, because then you can just buy this plastic. You can, I guess, cut it with a table saw to size, and then throw it in the laser cutter and do all the cutouts and the screw holes and all that. Something that I will be offering in the second batch is, actually, no, never mind. Scratch that. I was pondering on how I could make the enclosure mount to this frame, and I was thinking I could just offer an option for you to get 4-slot vertical extrusions here, but that's really pointless because you can just get little brackets that will mount on here and that will hold a nut. That will hold a nut like this, so that you can just bolt on the enclosure, and you can mount that under here for the bottom, or even above here if you wanted. And it could also do some kind of mounting point in this piece of plastic, or have it tap into the top. I don't really know. There's plenty of options. There's this stuff is really customizable for all of you, even when you get the kits, so it's nothing to worry about. You can just really do whatever you want. You can even like build your own bed, customize how far this spacing is, and you can really fit any bed on here you want. It just might not look as pretty doing obscure sizes. As far as problems with the printer, the only one that I know of at the moment is that the extruder carriage right now is it tends to be a bit loud only when it's doing the top layer infill. And what I'm assuming is it is something to do with there not being a fourth screw here, not holding everything together tight, and it's resonating and vibrating and causing a lot of obnoxious noise. But it is only at one speed, which leads me to believe that it is the resonance frequency of whatever is rattling, and it's just making it get really, really loud. You'll notice that this thing, when it moves at higher speeds, anything over 100 millimeters per second, is virtually silent. It's actually really amazing. But those top layer speeds, which I believe are 50 millimeters per second, you definitely do hear them. And they are a little bit obnoxious, to be honest. But that is something I'm working on, and is a problem that may be apparent in the beta batch if I can't figure it out soon, but hoping that will be completely solved by the first production run. Speaking of that, I'm about halfway done printing parts for the beta batch. I have all that stuff over here. Boxes of stuff, parts and whatnot. These actually failed because Repetier crashed on me, so I'm giving up on printing from Repetier, and I'm only printing from SD card from now on, because I am tired of the stupid program crashing and me losing my print. It was only an hour print, but still, frustrating to say the least. So, back on topic, beta batches, I expect to finish those somewhere around the 25th of the month. I'm going to be away from my printer for about a week, so I won't be able to do any prints for that period. And the Masumi order is coming in soon, which is great because that means I can actually finish my printer and put these top rails on, finally make it look complete. I was just waiting on those bolts, which are coming in. And I mean, then I can start putting together the kits. I can start throwing everything in the boxes. I have an abundance of boxes because I have no clue which size box will work best. And I'm guessing something like this is actually going to be my best bet. But yeah, I'm going to figure that out too. And additionally, when I go off to school, I don't know if I'm going to want to be printing 24 hours a day with 3 roommates who might get a little bit annoyed by that. So what I may do is try to find somebody to print parts for me. I would pay them per batch they do. They would ship the parts to me, and then I would compile that with the rest of the hardware, and I would ship out the kits. And of course verify that the printed parts are all there and are all correctly and high quality. Don't worry, I'm not just going to pick a random person. I will, if I do decide to do this, I will have it be required that you print out an entire printer and I guess send it to me, and I would pay for it, of course, for the parts, and to make sure that everything was good enough quality, that it not only looked good, but it also performed correctly and everything was aligned and in square. So yeah, this video was a lot longer than I meant it for it to be, but oh well, I'm done now. I will shut up, so expect a new video possibly in another day or two, if I get around to it, either talking about the printing thing, if I'm going to have other people print it, or I may do an update on the beta batch, all the parts that I've received so far, like these nice little threaded rods that have been chilling out here, and stuff like that. So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.